Eastern Shore Broadcasting. This is Tom. Well, good day, sir. I'm well, thank you. How about you? No emails. Sure. Okay. All right. At this point, I've got a tentative appointment at the University of West Alabama on Monday and Tuesday. That should firm up later today. Wednesday is not good because I've actually got a show that I produce that starts in about 20 minutes. So I could do something in the morning on Wednesday, but not in the afternoon. Thursdays are generally open. I can give him 2 hours at that point. Sure. Good. So we're talking about Wednesday 1st. Yeah, so real close to the Eastern time zone. All right. Well, I will put together a quote and send it to you, and I won't book anything for Wednesday morning, September 1st. Very good. You bet. Take care. All right, testing.
All right,
1, 2,
testing.
3.
1, 2, 3.
Testing. 1, 2,
Testing.
3.
1, 2, 3.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Is this mic on? Holy cow. You're right, Marie. We are in the middle of a ferocious thunderstorm here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. In fact, let me take off the noise filter so you can get the full effect. Of course, now it's going to go away. Yeah, now the rain just went shh. There's a weird echo. Thank you. Good, that was intentional. Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is echoes, 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 echoes. John got it. Yeah, echo, echo, hello, hello, hello. So yeah, we had thunder and lightning and torrential rain a minute ago. So we'll turn the filter back on. So that cleans up some of the fan noise and what have you. And let me do one other thing here in the studio. I ought to put a camera up in the window. I'll do that one day. So, okay. Morning from New Zealand. Hello, Chris. Hello, Chris. I hope New Zealand gets well soon. Oh, I need to leave that close by. And Australia, too, for that matter. It is, it's no fun when you got to stay in all that time. It would make me crazy. So yeah, there was a little thunder. We're supposed to have a nasty storm, a nasty cell come through, in about 45 minutes. So we'll see. If that's the case, we can just blend that right into the show part on audio. Yeah. So how are you guys doing? Good day from North Texas. Well, good day, sir. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So we are not under any kinds of quarantine here. We don't have a mask order in effect, although a lot of stores and public places are requesting masks. It's not a requirement, which is kind of nice. Actually, I've been keeping this under wraps, but I was scheduled for knee replacement surgery next Monday. Hello, Ron. Welcome, sir. And got a call this past Monday that it's been postponed indefinitely. So that was kind of going to lay me low for a while. But it didn't and it won't. And I've got some really fun projects. I'm working on them. I don't know if I can show it to you yet. Yeah, I don't have a camera in that place, but I'll probably have a show about it. Working on a portable, kind of a cart-based live streaming system for a local school that they can roll around to the gymnasium or to the auditorium or to different places. And oh yeah, it's got to have Wi-Fi. Let's make a note of that. Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't want to forget the Wi-Fi. So, oh yeah, and I've got a little Wi-Fi card I can put in one of those M.2 slots. We'll try that. Sorry about that. Just sort of, yeah. Yeah, and Maria, I would imagine, mask mandates, here in the U.S. are different from state to state, and in fact can be from city to city or county to county. Or depending on the, kind of the jurisdiction authority. For example, the governor in Florida has said, schools cannot issue a mask mandate, but yet some schools did. So there's some confusing lines of authority as to, who to believe and what to believe and how to believe it. There was a crack. I don't know if you heard that. So, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. What other projects do we have going on here? We've got a, I don't get called to do this very often, but somebody asked me to create a video editing system for them. We had done a live streaming system for them. And now they want a video editing system because they say that our live streaming system works so well as a video editor. So we're updating the technology a little bit and going on to the next one. So it'll be kind of fun. So nice that people from Sweden and New Zealand can meet through this show. Sweden, where it's 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and New Zealand, where it's probably 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. Yep. And Ron Holdaway, glad to have you in the show today. Ron was in our vMix 101 class that just ended yesterday, and we're going to be talking about audio again today, and you never can have too much audio stuff. And there's Herman. Welcome. He is from the middle of the Sunshine State, where it may or may not be sunshining at the moment. 9 p.m. in Sweden. Okay. Got it. And then, let's see, we also have Ron Wallace in the audience today. And Ron is a live streamer here in my area, and is just doing great guns, mostly sports, basketball and football, and it is his site is Ballin' Down South, I believe. Ron, check me if I'm wrong, or if you want to post the URL, please do, so that folks can tune in. How are we doing on time? We've still got a few more minutes. You know, it's funny. I've got a clock right in front. Well, right there. That's the countdown to what's going on. But yet I'm looking all over the room for a clock. It's muscle memory. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. At least that's what everybody says. Let's see, if I press the pink button, will it do what it's supposed to do? No, I didn't get that one. I had to. I didn't have to. I chose to reinstall Windows on this PC because it had been a long time and it had just been accumulating a lot of, what would you call it, cyber dust, virtual dust, and technology dust. And so I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and redo it. And I didn't. Lesson, here I am looking at the clock again. Lesson to the wise. When you do something like that, of course, you're going to save all your presets, but make sure you export your configuration file, your vMix configuration file, so that you will save that, and that'll have your shortcuts in it too. So there you go. Welcome, Otis, from Houston, Texas. Where is it raining or sunny today in Houston? It could be. There it is, Ballin' Down South. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. Marie says, when you need to teach an old dog new tricks, you need to find the right treat. Yeah, that's right. Well, it might not be the right treat. It might be the right stick. The stick would be, punishment for me to look like an idiot looking all around the room. There we go. BallinDownSouth.com. There we go. Thank you, Ron. And Ron, do you have any, what football games do you have on the slate coming up? Sunny and 99 in Houston. Oh, my goodness. It is pouring down rain here, so it's probably in the low 70s. And humid to beat the band. So, yeah, I've been working a lot with some of the local high schools and high schools actually all over the South in getting them up and ready for their live streaming. This year we're doing a training session for a school out in Oklahoma, and a training session tomorrow for a local school. So you just never, ever know. Doing Greenville versus Blunt. Ooh, that's interesting. Greenville is a little city about, I guess, I don't know, 100 miles from here. And then Blunt is a school over in the city of Mobile, which is about 20 12 or 15 miles from where I am. And it should be a good game. It should be a good game. Just don't hit your dogs, whip yourself all you want. That's right. That's right. All right. Chris says, lockdown. We have 68 COVID-19 cases, but no one in intensive care. Well, that's the balance. And everybody gets to choose their own balance. Or at least each authority gets to choose their own balance. There we go. And let's see, who did I miss? I missed somebody. Hold on. Cardell Live Media from Brazil. Welcome. Glad to have you. Sorry I let that slip by and didn't see you pop in. All right. And he broadcast Leroy versus Millet last Friday. Okay, good. How did that go? Did you have a good audience? I was talking to the Mobile County Public School guys that do the TV there, and I think they did games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and had good audiences in the thousands. Milry, got it. Thank you. There we go. There we go. All right, well, let's get this show on the road. Today, well, let's do this hat tip to Martin Kay of Zen Video in Manchester for what you're about to see. And what you're about to see doesn't work because I forgot to program the keys. Oh, that's too funny. All right, let's try again. That's why I had some of this stuff open here. Let's see if this does it. That did it. That did it. Very good. Very good. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. Glad to have you. If you have ever done a live stream or tried to do a live stream and it didn't quite work, like maybe you forgot to hit the stream button or the record button or, switch the right camera on and you felt like an idiot, then this show is for you. All of the idiots in the world are gathering up, all the live streaming idiots anyway. We wouldn't have enough room for all the idiots. But all the live streaming idiots are gathering up here on Wednesday afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern, and talking about live streaming and some of the mistakes we make and some of the fixes for those mistakes. Today we're going to be talking about audio. Actually, this is our third in the series, the last 3 weeks, including today, on audio. And today we're going to talk about routing audio. So we can, or maybe where you come from, they call it routing. I'm not quite sure. But telling audio what to do. And audio doesn't listen. It only wants to talk. It doesn't like to be told what to do and where to go. It sometimes just decides to go places all by itself for no good reason. Places that you never intended. In fact, places you probably didn't even know existed. Like a double audio. Now, Marie helped me earlier, so I want to create some double audios so that we can see some of this stuff. So let's do this. And that should create a double audio. And then we're going to do this. Where is it? Oh, we got it right there. Do that. And that should create a little bit of double audio. And if you have a situation like this, you'll just go cray-cray. Hold on, one more to get rid of. There we go. There we go. Was that not awful? Was that just not bloody awful? And how do you do a live stream like that? Or let's say you have a guest in your studio and that's what they hear in their earbuds or their headphones. Or you have a vMix caller and that's what how are you going to figure out where that audio is coming from and where it's going. Now, I'll tell you here right now, I cheated on those. The first one you heard, and I reached to my right here, was I have a vMix call going on my Microsoft Surface Pro 6 right here, and the mic is open on that. And all I did was go into vMix and activate that vMix call, so that brought that audio from my Surface into vMix and out to you. The second thing I did was I have a TV here in the studio that allows me to see your comments during the show. Just set it up this morning. Used to have it set up when I had the studio arranged differently, but glad to have it back. And what I've got across from me right now is the YouTube feed. And let's see if we can go back to here. There we go. And so the YouTube feed, I turned the audio on that. Now that was delayed about 3 seconds. And as you also heard, it began to create some feedback. So it's just, it can be a nightmare, especially if you're going live and you're trying to fix this while you're live. Holy cow. Not a happy thought, and not something that you want to do. I've done that with this show a couple of times. I've had audio problems, and basically I've just said, because it's my show and I could say it said, hold on, turn off all the audio, figuring this out, fix it, be right back, don't go away. But you can't do that when you're working for a client. If you've got a game or a race or something like that, a church service, you can't do that. So the way you prevent that is, does anybody know? Raise your hand if you know. That's right. You test. Yes, Otis, I'll show you that in the post show, I promise. And if I don't, remind me. Test. Set up your vMix setup just like it would be for the day of the service or the day of the game or the day of the race or whatever it would be. Test it as and do the live stream, do the recording, do the whole thing. You can live stream and delete it later from YouTube or Facebook or something like that. But make it as real as possible so that you don't have these last minute unpleasant, oh, well, when we tested it, we didn't have a live vMix caller call in. Why not? And then you had an issue. Well, let's test it and use your grandma. Call her up, say, Gram, I'm going to send you this URL, put it on your phone, and then talk to me, whatever it takes to get the test so that you know. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit about routing of audio. We did the audio echo thing. And let's see, let me flip up. Yeah, this is going to be a little wild, but we'll go ahead and throw it up there for just a second. And we'll put me there. There we go. And we can take off that and that. And so I want you to see my audio setup. And can I flip this out and you still see it? Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to drag this down here. This is my audio setup today. And what I've got for outputs is I've got master, and you can see there's audio present because the volume meter's jumping up and down. And then I've got A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and I'll show you what those come from in just a second. And then I've got that call that I just turned the audio on just a second ago. I've got another caller that's not connected right now. And then I've got a mic that is over there for the studio. And then another caller. And then this is my mic right here. And then this is the theme music. And actually this plays all the time. Yeah, there you go. And I just pop it in and out as needed. And then I've got 3 sound effects. I've got this one. I've got this one. And then I've got this one. And then I've got one more input, audio input, which is another caller. So that's what my audio looks like right there. And you can see the only thing that's active
and turned on is this desktop mic right here. All of these are turned on, but they're not active. This one is not active and, and not turned down, and not turned on and turned all the way down. But you get the gist of it. All right, so let's dock that. We're going to dock that right there. And in fact, we're just going to turn off the audio mixer for a second. And the next thing I want to show you is my audio outputs. And if you're not sure about audio outputs, you go to Settings and then go to Audio Outputs in the left column, and this is what you see. So mine show you that my master output, that is the audio going out of vMix, that is everything that's being streamed and recorded, the master, it goes nowhere. I don't want my master output to go somewhere that, for example, when you set up a brand new when you set up a brand new vMix, that brand new vMix has the master output and the headphones output as default Windows audio device. Well, who the heck knows what the default Windows audio device is? It could be, something loud and blasting. How do you find out what the default Windows video device is? Well, did you hear that thunder? Let's see. Down here in the sys tray in Windows, and this is the easiest way to get to it, or the fastest way, not the easiest way. But you see this little speaker icon. If I hover it over it, it tells me W55 100%. That's that TV in front of me. But if I right-click it and open Sound Settings, and then go to Sound Control Panel, if I'm going too fast for you, you can come back later and watch all this again. And we're just going to drag this up right next to me. You can see what all the outputs, for some reason Windows calls them playback, but you can see what all the outputs are, and you can see what the default is. That's the default communication device. Let's see what some of these else are. Dun, 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 dun. Well, we should have figured that out. The W55 TV is the default device. So if I had my master output as as default Windows audio device, and then I turned things on, I would have this TV blaring back at me. In fact, in a vMix setup, the headphones also say default Windows device, audio device. And then the rest of them, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, are set for none. So when we build a PC here, we make sure that we have the audio master output and the headphones output set to none, because we don't want anybody to do something unintentional, because you never know what your default Windows audio device, got to get the name right. You never know what your default Windows audio device is. So don't send it somewhere where we don't know where it is. So that's number one. The master output in my world needs to be set to none, and the headphones need to be set for none. Now, Jan is saying in chat, the smart thing about Windows default audio device is that you can change it on the fly. That's true. But for somebody that's just starting out, you don't need to add that layer of complexity. You can build to that layer of complexity. And I agree with you 100%, Jan, and I appreciate you mentioning that. But as we're starting out, we need to know what we have. And let's start out with none, because none is none. You can't redefine that. You can't change that on the fly. None is none. So we don't want any audio going anywhere that we don't know about. Now you say, well, Tom, it's an output. It's okay. I want my output to go somewhere. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you don't know where the somewhere is, that is, you've got to be very precise, because the audio will it'll either do exactly what you tell it to do, but sometimes it will do other things too. So let's look back at my master output audio device. This is the routing. This is where I want my audio to go. All right, so my master doesn't go anywhere. It goes nowhere. If I'm going to send it somewhere, I'm going to send it somewhere particularly. I'm certainly not going to send it to Windows default device. The headphones is the UMC ASIO driver. Now, for me, that is my Behringer UMC 404 HD audio interface, the same one that the vMix guys use in their vMix Funtime live show. I hope you caught the show last night. It was a good one. And if you didn't, you can go to their YouTube channel. I think it's vMix HD on YouTube, but just Google vMix and it'll pop up, the vMix Funtime live show. And the UMC ASIO driver allows me to send the headphone audio to channels 1 and 2 on that on the Behringer. And really what it does is it mixes in the audio from vMix with the audio from the Behringer. So I can hear my vMix caller, I can hear the bumper music, I can hear all of that. Plus, I get to hear myself and anybody else in the studio in real time. I don't want to hear myself through vMix because there's a delay of about, if I had to guess, I'd say 50 milliseconds. Just enough to drive you cray-cray for sure. So that would be why when I add my microphone into my production, I say mute headphones, because I don't want the microphone to go through vMix and then back into my ear. I want the microphone in the device that's receiving the mic audio. That is my Behringer UMC 404 HD. That's too long of a name. I want that audio to go directly from there to my ear with virtually no latency. I'm sure there's latency, but it's so little that I can hear it. So that's my headphones. A is enabled. What does enabled mean, Tom? Well, it means that I can use the A channel. I can put audio on the A channel from an input, and then I can take it off somewhere else. I don't have to define the beginning and the ending right here in the audio output section. I just make channel A available. If A said none, then it wouldn't be available. So by enabling it, it becomes available. Let me show you what I mean. Let's pull up at that desktop capture. There we go, desktop capture. And we'll get rid of all that nonsense. There we go. And let's bring our audio mixer back on. And let's just bring it up like that. And we're just gonna size it like this. There we go. So there's the audio mixer. And let's say I want to send some audio to my vMix caller. And I only want to send it to him, and I only want to send something to him. And so I'm going to take this number 13, the boom mic, which is not hooked up, and I'm going to turn on the A, and I'll turn on the audio. So that means now that any audio coming from the boom mic is going to travel, and it's actually going on the master, so we'll take that off, is going to travel on the A channel. So let's come into some of my calls here, and we'll look at this one and say, oh, audio source is A. So now the boom mic can talk directly to the vMix caller. So the way that, again, the way we've made that happen is by enabling the channel A, the bus A. I guess I need to call it bus A because that's what vMix calls it. By enabling bus A, I can put audio on bus A, and I can take audio from bus A. So bus A in this case is acting not really as just an output because it's just enabled. It's being created, and we can use it in different places to route audio. So I could put 3 microphones on bus A, and I could have 2 vMix callers that were listening to bus A. So we can configure that, and of course you can use shortcuts to do all that at the drop of a hat. So that's why I would have one of these enabled. Now let's look at bus B, for example. Bus B is my cable B input from VB audio cables, VB audio cables is the name of the cable, folks. VB audio cables. You can Google it and you can get audio cables too. I've got 3 of them on this PC. I've got A, I've got B, and I've got cables, because I got a free one that's not really named A or B. So you can see down here at bus B is cable B, but bus E is cable A. And I wish I could rename these cables so that they would match up with the vMix buses, but that's okay. I can draw a map and and figure that out. So by using bus B for cable B, if I am using Zoom or Skype or GoToMeeting or something like that, and I want to route the audio, route an output in vMix to an input in that whatever that app is. I mean, that app is looking for a microphone. It's looking for an audio source, an audio input, what Windows would call a recording or a recording source, an audio input. vMix can output that audio, but it doesn't appear as an input. So we use this kind of cable to go in between them. And I've chosen cable B to do that. So if I want my audio to go out of vMix, I have to, and let's go back to our audio mixer here. There we go. I have to say, all right, this mic right here, number 13 that we're sending to the vMix caller, I'm also sending it to Zoom. And Zoom is using cable B as its microphone. So, and I did a video on this a while back. If this is too quick a tutorial for you, go back and watch that video. All right, so let's go back to our output list. C is enabled in the same way A is enabled. So that gives me 2 channels that I can use. So if I have 2 different callers, I can send 2 different channels. I can send A to caller 1 and C to caller 2. But I can't send A and C to that caller at the same time. I don't think so. I think it's just a single source. D is my TV set. So any audio that I route to D, as I did a little while ago in that terrible audio echo thing that I made, if I were to route audio to D right now, my live audio, you would hear it in the background. In fact, let me illustrate that. And I'm going to show you, what am I going to show you? Yeah, let's show you the audio mixer. And you can hear the difference. So we're going to go with the desktop capture and audio mixer. And you notice here on number 17, that's my mic. You don't see D. You have to right click one of these 3 buttons right here and you'll pull up that. And so when I click on D here, all of a sudden you begin to get that echo in the background, which is going to turn into feedback. So I didn't want to leave it very long. And sometimes people will do this unintentionally. They might have their YouTube up on a second monitor just so they can see that it's working. But they may have the sound turned down somewhere, but it may still end up being routing through the default Windows audio device or something else like that it was not intended. Or it may just be somewhere in the room. I've had that happen before too. All right, let's see. So let's go back to our list. E we've already talked about. That's our second cable. F, and I just put it down here because I'm not really using it. But F would be speakers. If I had speakers attached to my PC in the line out jack, at least on this PC, your laptop was probably different. But if I had a line out jack on my PC, I could route audio to the speakers. You say, well, Tom, why would you want to do that? Well, I might want to put audio into a different room. Let's say if my studio isn't large enough, but if my studio was large enough, I might want to have the audio from whatever is live in the studio right now playing in the lobby so that people can hear it. Actually, I'd probably have a big screen in there with the audio playing in the lobby for that. Well, and let's talk about that scenario. So in that case, my W55, that is on bus D, would be the audio going to the TV. So I would have probably all of my audio inputs set to D. Or I guess I could make my master output the TV if the TV was in a different room. That might be another way to do it. That way I wouldn't have to go through every single input and make those the D input. Let's see. Going back to this list again. You notice that I've got headphones as bus G. And you say, well, Tom, you've got your headphones set to the UMC ASIO driver. Yes, because that's the headphones that I really, really use. But and remember, when G says headphones right here, it means the device inside your PC that is called headphones. And so it's probably a jack, depending on the PC, it may be a jack on the front. If it's on your laptop, obviously it's going to be on the side. And a lot of laptops now are having a jack that's kind of a combination of headphones and microphone, which it would be called a headset. So don't confuse headphone with headset. The headphone would be ear only. The headset would be ears and mic. And so I don't have one of those cables handy. Sorry about that. Didn't think about it very well. But if I did, the headphone jack, if it was that 3.5 millimeter, would have 2 little rings on it. And the headset would have 3 little rings on it and probably a bump on the wire that would be a microphone. So my current routing, if I wanted things to go to a device that was plugged into my PC in the headphone jack, I would turn on G for whatever that device was. So let's go back and we'll just play with that and do it. So my audio, for example, right here, if I want it to go to the headphones, I'm going to turn it on there. And fresh and fun, I'm going to turn that on G. So now when I check it, I can see G is enabled there, and I can see G is enabled there. But of course, it's not available on some of these others. So there you go. There you go. All right. So what does that mean? What does all that mean, Tom? Well, what it means is that, yes, it's TRRS or TRS, thank you, Xavier, but not everybody knows that. But everybody can count the rings. So trying to keep it as everyman, kiss as possible. Keep it stupid simple, as somebody used to tell me. It's really simple, stupid, but that's okay. He liked to change things around and make them like he made it up himself. The idea is that you can tell the audio where to go, and you can be very intentional about it. At this point in vMix, there's not a single place to go to inside of vMix where you can see where all your audio is routed to. I understand that something like that might be in the works. We might see that in vMix 25. That's just pure speculation on my part. That's not any kind of insider knowledge. I don't have insider knowledge. I just have stuff I make up. I'm teasing. But I don't have insider knowledge. And when I do, I don't share it. So, because I've been asked not to. And I'm not in that case right now. I haven't been asked not to share anything. No, I haven't. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm definitely sure. Okay. So you want to know where your audio is going. You want to intentionally send it somewhere. If you're sending your audio, then it's going to be an output. If you're receiving audio from something, it's going to be an input. but they're not always called inputs and outputs. For example, let's go back to our desktop capture for a second, and let's look at our vMix call. This is the active call that's going on right here. And the audio source, it doesn't say audio input. It doesn't say audio recording. It doesn't say audio microphone, any of the other words. vMix throws another word in here called the audio source. Well, that's actually pretty easy to understand, I think. The source is, where is it coming from? It's my source. It's coming to me. So what is the audio source for this particular call? In this case, it's the master. And I can choose the headphones, bus A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. And by the way, headphones can become kind of like an extra bus. It doesn't have to go to the ears. You can control it just like it was any other bus. It's a little slightly more cumbersome to do it that way, but in a pinch, it will give you that. Rich wants to know if he can get audio underwater. Well, but of course, Rich. How do you think dolphins and whales communicate? Oh, Tim says keep it super simple. I like that. That's even better. I love it. It really does need to be stupid simple. It really, especially audio. And I am a big fan of drawing out your audio and where does it go. And if it takes more than one page, do it. And if it takes more than 3 pages, it's probably too complicated and it's going to break. But know where your audio is going. Intend for it to go someplace. If you don't know where it's going, you're going to have an unexpected result. Not immediately, but eventually. Eventually you will. So there you go. As Tim says, you need to know your gazintas from your gazuzas. Gauzas? Well, there you go. It's a Greek thing, I guess. So that is 30 minutes, quick and dirty, on audio routing, mostly audio outputs. Taking audio from vMix, the audio that's generated inside of vMix, and sending it either outside of vMix or somewhere else inside vMix. I hope that clears it up. If it doesn't, shoot me an email, make a comment to this video, and I'll do my best to ask it. You can always go to our website at easternshorebroadcasting.com and contact us there. We don't sell video equipment. I don't purport to be a video expert, but I am a video veteran. And I don't purport to be an audio expert. And I am an audio veteran, and I have the audio scars to prove it. So yeah, there we go. All right, well, we're going to move to the post show here in just a second. I appreciate all the comments in the chat, and there was a request from Otis to show you guys this, so I'll show you that in the post show. So let's see if we can do. I forgot to set my shortcuts up, so I really am a dummy. So really what we want to do is we want to do this. Yeah, there we go. All right, so be right back with the post show. Okay, so now we got to get this guy hooked up because somehow we didn't hook him up right. So let's go check vMix Social, and let's do that. And we'll do that. There we go. So now, can we do comments? Yeah. Oh, let's try one more time. I clicked the X in vMix Social, and it says, oh, do you want to close it? No, I don't want to close it. I just want to get it out of the way. But it is not communicating for some reason with this. Let's take a look real quickly. We'll do that, do that. What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? I've got about 15 GT zip files to choose from here, and for some reason it keeps selecting a different one. So let's go back and see if we can get this to work. No? Well, gee whiz. Holy cow. 1 second, let's try something else here. Well, yeah. Look at that. It's all there, but it's not there. Wow. Let's try something else real quick. We'll go to, bear with me, sorry. Sorry to be such a dummy. Such an idiot. There we go. There we go. For some reason, social wasn't communicating there. So Xavier wants to know, have you used NDI for audio inside the computer? I haven't. I mean, there's some times when I'll take like a vMix caller and make it an NDI source so that I can bring it into multi-quarter. And because at this point, vMix hasn't quite fixed the fact that every time the frame rate or the resolution of a vMix call changes, because you know sometimes it changes if it's coming from a browser, your caller's using a browser, that creates a new file in multi-quarter. And so by sending that vMix caller out to NDI and then bringing it back in as an input, NDI input, that cleans that up and allows you to have one file all the same resolution. Unfortunately, it doesn't do the audio right, so it's not a perfect fix. So Rich says, I will try audio with salmon next month. Interesting, interesting. I mean, you know, the way you would want to test that, Rich, obviously, would be to do something that produced some audio under the water so you know at least that was working. And that would be just as simple as taking a rock and dropping it on top of another rock to hear that click. And if you're underwater, you can hear that. But my guess is that salmon don't talk. I've never heard of that. Never heard of them talking. Chris says, hey, Tom, do you have an example of your paper routing plan available? Not here. I did it in a lesson yesterday in the vMix 101 class when we talked about audio and Zoom. I had one all mapped out just for the vMix audio output and audio input. So there. So Clint's going to try broccoli with his salmon. Okay, that's what they do in Kentucky. And do they make sushi, salmon? Is there salmon sushi? I've never heard of salmon sushi. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. So Jan says, and let's see if we can. I don't think I can go back to it. Can I go back to it here? Yeah, there it is. Great comment. You can actually rename your Windows audio devices. And if it makes sense to you, then it's sensible. But keep in mind that Windows updates can change any darn thing they want to anytime you do an update. So if you're changing your Windows audio devices, it's possible, I don't know it to be a fact, but it's possible that a Windows update could change it back. So test it, and know for sure. Yeah, let's see, what else have we got there? I'm trying to look around the camera here so that I can see the comments. Yeah. Let's see, can we go back? So Otis has got an NDI output for Zoom for a webinar. And let's see, let's go back. Are we on page 1 or page 2? Yeah, there we go. Could I figure out the NDI remote? Great question. Yes and no. And what I found out is that for me, it works on some devices and not on others. And my guess is that, my hope is that new tech is figuring out whatever that is and enabling that internally. I don't think it was a router problem. I don't think it was a firewall problem. I think it was just simply an incompatibility in the hardware of what NDI was expecting for NDI remote. So I will probably not be using NDI remote just because at this point I don't feel compelled to do it. But I did want to test it, and I think there might be some circumstances where it would be beneficial. For example, if I can't get SDI to work, I can't get Reliable Secure Transport, RST. I'm blanking out on what it is. Hang on a second. Let's get that thing in there. And if you think of it before I do, SRT, thank you, Secure Reliable Transport. So there we go. All right, let's see. Let's go back to our social page here. And Rich has a great reminder that Patch Tuesdays are the second Tuesday of each month. So, you can pause your Windows updates, and you can pause them for up to 5 weeks. And my recommendation is to pause them until the 4th week of the month, and maybe even pause them longer than that, and then just calendar to go in. In fact, I need to go in and update this PC. Fortunately, vMix has an option, which I think is on by default, that will prevent Windows updates from happening while vMix is running. So there. All right, Otis wanted to see the studio, what do you call that thing? The confidence monitor. So let me flip over to that camera. And this is me, pay no attention. Oh, I was going to turn the lights off, and I never did. I've got 3 very carefully placed lights that are all 5,000 degrees Kelvin. And then I've got these ceiling lights, and I forgot to turn them off. So much for being an expert, huh? RTSP, says Rich. Let's see if we can take this camera and turn it a little bit. Turn it a little bit more. There we go. And that is the confidence monitor that I'm currently looking at. There we go. And I can pull my mouse out to it. And then, of course, send those out very easily. So I can scroll through the list, go to a different page. I also have a YouTube window up, and that's what I was turning the audio off and on to earlier to create the echo. But as you can see, it's about 3 or 4 seconds latency. Not bad. Not bad at all. So there we go. So we've got that. And then of course I can come into vMix and go full screen with whatever is in output, and that will show you, whatever is in output. Unfortunately, it just goes into infinity when we do it in that view. So we won't do that view anymore. Let's go back to our post-show shot. There we go. And we'll turn off full screen. Let's see. Otis, you are very welcome. That was my pleasure. Otis uses an external on vMix to an input in Zoom via NDI. That would be interesting to do. Since NDI is something that I guess you probably, if you don't have, well, vMix has got NDI. You still probably want the NDI tools there in order to do something like that. Yep. All right, boys and girls. I'm going to leave you with some wisdom from Tim Trott. And that is, you definitely need to know your gazintas from your gazutas, he says. There we go. Got it fixed up. So, you will be wiser for listening to me. Not much wiser, but ever so slightly wiser. And I hope this helps. So, until next week, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.